We are Southeastern 16. We are back with you previewing schedules for SEC football teams. And here we go with the Kentucky Wildcats in what will be a big year for Mark Stoops and company there in Lexington. And it's not an easy schedule that the Wildcats are facing here, Jay Greeson. And again, what is an important year. And we, again, saw last year they managed the front half of the schedule pretty well last year. And then we kind of saw things come unraveled a bit. And I feel like they couldn't really find their footing at quarterback and some other key places. But nonetheless, a big year for Mark Stoops this year.
Huge year for Mark Stoops. And now I think, to be fair, we need to start with this talking point. I have contended on multiple of these broadcasts that Mark Stoops' seat may be, after 4-8 last year, real close to a 500 record in his decade or so in Lexington, that his seat could be as hot as just about anybody's not named Brent Venables or Hugh Freeze. But some of our regular Kentucky viewers have rightly noted in various chats on some of our live streams, his buyout is still enormous. Even at the end of the season, they'd have to pay him almost $40 million to go away. And unlike most buyouts, Chase, that all the total sum of that money is due within 60 days. So It's not a space it out.
Yeah.
Plan on getting donations. Cross your fingers that basketball is going to make a bunch of extra coin that you can reallocate. It's 60 days and come up with a $37.5 million check. And that's not even counting assistance.
Yeah, that's tough there for Kentucky. Let's look at their schedule, see how the Wildcats can manage it coming up in 2025. So here we go. They will start things off on Saturday, August 30th, hosting the Toledo Rockets there in Kroger Field. We'll learn quickly about this team. And I said it's not an easy schedule because you get one game to learn about your team, and you got the Ole Miss Rebels coming into Kentucky, who are looking for a little revenge because Kentucky did get the best of Ole Miss last year in Oxford. Ole Miss, I'm sure, has that on their mind coming in this year. They get them week 2 there, first Saturday in September.
Well, to your point about the difficulty of the schedule, and we've talked about it on a couple of different team previews about the revenge factor. Toledo's not exactly a cupcake, friend. I mean, that's a team that likes to sling it around. They've got their quarterback back. And if Kentucky should and probably will win, but I think that's still a single-digit point spread. I think it's like Kentucky minus 9.5, 10, somewhere in that kind of conversation.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think Lane Kiffin comes to Lexington in week 2 in what is the first conference game for anybody. And I think Ole Miss is going to be salivating and angry because, hey, the Kentucky loss kept them out of the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that could very well be the best team since the Ghosts of Mississippi that Ole Miss has had and may ever have.
Yeah. That's a great point. And you see, as I've got the first 5 games pulled up, first 6 weeks, they've got that off week after Eastern Michigan. But again, you see on these first 6 games, first 6 weeks, they've got Ole Miss, a trip to South Carolina, and a trip to Athens, Georgia. That's what we're talking about here when we say this is a tough schedule. The front half of this is it's tough for a team who there's a lot of questions on Kentucky.
A lot of questions. And it starts this time of year with every program, unless you are South Carolina, unless you are Florida, it's questions around your quarterback. And Zach Calzada, I mean, it's clearly, since he's gotten 3 SEC football scholarships during the course of his career, either coming out of high school or coming out of the portal, has got talent that coaches think they can work with, but it has never clicked, whether it's been because of injury, fit, frustration, whatever it works out. But I mean, you and I did and you guys can find all this in the archives of Southeastern 16. But I know we did a conversation with Blake one time about the handful or more teams who really entertain serious playoff aspirations. I think we settled about 7 or 8. Kentucky's first 4 SEC games are against teams in that 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And 3 of them are on the road, as you rightly noted.
Yes. Yeah, that's tough. Anytime you're up against that, that is tough. And we moved down the schedule. We mentioned at South Carolina, at Georgia. So those 2 games, interesting scheduling here because, and we've talked about it on the channel. You get an off week, you get at South Carolina and Georgia, then another off week, and then you get into trying to fit all that in here. Texas and Tennessee come to Kroger Field, at Auburn. You go to Vanderbilt, end things up down in Louisville, as you see. But that's a lot of football to be played that many weeks in a row. Most teams do not have this type of scheduling.
That's 7 straight weeks against, starting with a Texas team that'll probably be number 1, probably a ranked Tennessee team. And the swing on Auburn is anybody's guess. It's either a ranked Auburn team or an Auburn team dealing with an interim coach, coach whispers, whatever you want to call. So there's no idea to tell what it is, but it's still on the road, probably a ranked Florida team. If you count the traditional mid-November cupcake as the closest thing they have to an off week in the last 7 weeks of the season, you still got to go play Diego Pavia's last home game, allegedly. I mean, if anybody can figure out another way to get a 12th year of eligibility, it's Diego Pavia. But then you play a Louisville team that cleaned your clock last year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that Tennessee Tech week is the only week, and to give you a little coach speak, you can't take any week off, but that's the only, non-conference game, the only game in there that you're thinking, okay, we may can take a deeper breath than we can any other week, but that's a lot of football to be played all there in one time. Interesting scheduling, like I mentioned, but it is a difficult schedule that they're going to have to navigate. And you mentioned their rivalry game there on November 29th with Louisville, and that was kind of a game Kentucky has won a lot of those matchups. Louisville is on the up though with Jeff Brom there, and you have to go to Louisville. So that's an interesting there when non-conference, but a big rivalry. I'm interested to see how they're able to navigate this because, again, it's one of the tough ones. And for Kentucky in a big year there with Mark Stoops, it's going to be fascinating to see what they can do. We'll be here to talk about it, though, here on Southeastern 16, that's for sure. And we got to talk about our friends over at GameTime Sidekicks because we love talking about the products there. Jay's got one, as you see. GameTimeSidekicks.com, officially licensed stainless steel drinkware. All SEC rules right there.
Well, it's great. It's not only unbelievably good looking stuff. I help coach a 14U travel softball team. And to say that the last handful of tournaments we've been to have been hot is to say Dante's sixth circle of hell is hot. So, but everywhere I look around, the only cup that still has ice around lunchtime is mine. So much so that as an Auburn graduate, the good folks sent me an Auburn cup. One of my assistant coaches played football at Alabama, and he said, I hate the logo, but that's the coolest cup I've ever seen.
There you go. Jay's turning heads with his Game Time Sidekick because of that ice retention. They got that double wall vacuum insulated stainless steel. That does the job there. And so you can be like Jay and go out to your to your kids' outdoor events when it's 800 degrees and still have ice in your cup. And it's all made right there in Knoxville, Tennessee. Tons of designs and logos for each school. They even got the college vault line. So everything from stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, the 40-ounce plus bottles and shaker cups right there at GameTimeSidekicks.com. And you get a 20% discount by watching this, by using promo code SE16 to you, the viewers, 20% discount. So GameTimeSidekicks.com. Go get your cup. Use promo code SE16 for that 20% off discount. Also, we have a new friend, Rockform. You need to check those guys out as well. The world's strongest magnetic phone case. Rockform.com, R-O-K, Rockform.com. Great accessories there, whether it's like the phone cases, the magnetic phone cases, also the dash mount if you're looking to mount your phone on your dash there. Also golf accessories there as well, speakers, things like that to take out on the golf course with you. So some great stuff there. Rockform.com, the world's strongest magnetic phone case there with Rockform. We appreciate them for partnering with us as well. So subscribe to Southeastern 16 if you've not already. If you don't see your favorite team schedule preview on the channel yet, be watching as we will pass along information on all your favorite teams. But I mean, Jay, you look at Kentucky, going to be a tough one, but still looking forward to seeing what the Wildcats can do in 25.
We discussed the buyout. We discussed the hot seat, and you have to at least tip your visor to Mark Stoops, who statistically has been the most successful football coach in Kentucky history. But I will say this, because I have asked this multiple times. Is Mark Stoops good at this, or is he good enough at this for Kentucky? And I think it's a fair question, but I will say this. I will never ask it again. If he can, with his question marks on that roster and that schedule, if Kentucky goes bowling, I will never ask that question again, because he emphatically will determine that he is good at this. Because 6 wins against that schedule with that roster that would have to be considered a home run season.
That's a very good point. A very good point there. So we'll see. We'll see what they can do in 2025. We got you covered here on Southeastern 16. Subscribe, like, Kentucky fans, drop your comments, and we'll talk to you next time here on Southeastern 16.